MPLS is already deployed in transport networks, but we have a number of equipment vendors and service providers that recognize that MPLS may not necessarily be well designed for transport. It may not necessarily have the characteristics, it maybe has too much capability that would drive up the cost of transport. So what they're looking for is a connection-oriented version of MPLS that would help them lower costs by not having to rely on IP routing. They're looking to develop, or they have been developing, MPLS-TP technology within the standards organizations in order to give MPLS the capability to have the same predictability that SONET SDH networks have today. We see several applications emerging for MPLS-TP. The first would be SONET SDH migration to packet transport. Another one would be mobile backhaul over a packet transport network. And a third one, which is supported by Verizon, would be dynamic MPLS-TP over OTN and DWDM. Initially, a lot of the discussion around MPLS-TP was focused on driving MPLS functionality out into the access network, so having a lower cost version of MPLS for the access network. But we've done a recent survey of industry professionals who've been following the technology, and what's interesting is a large number of them say MPLS-TP should have the properties that would allow it to be deployed across the access, metro, and core networks, so throughout the network. The core elements of the MPLS-TP standards are largely complete. We started seeing public demonstrations of MPLS-TP with MPLS-based OAM at the end of 2010. And into 2011, we started seeing an increase of test, trial, and early deployment activity. A large number of industry experts that we've surveyed expect that we'll begin to see significant deployments in 2012 and 2013. About a third said 2012, and another third said 2013. Well, initially, it's mostly large operators that have been looking at the technology because they have large SONET SDH networks that they want to migrate to MPLS-TP. But over time, what we'll see is an increased number of Tier 2 and Tier 3 operators looking at MPLS-TP as it begins to prove itself into the network. Well, I think it's too early to say who's going to have the most success in the market, but the things that I would look for is, has my equipment supplier been involved in standards activity? Have they demonstrated that they have a commitment to helping me migrate my SDH SONET networks over to MPLS-TP in a smooth way? And have they proven interoperability with MPLS that's likely to be deployed in my network?